Welcome to another Creating Magic Minisode. I'm Dani, and
I'm
this is
Hannah. Hannah.
we. You are our second guest on a minisode.
Oh, I feel honored.
So we just started having guests. Um, Paula had a guest while you and I were away at D23,
Yes.
and it was both of our first time.
Yes. And definitely not my last. It will be a every time kind of thing for me moving forward. I absolutely loved it.
I did too, and I feel like the next time we're gonna be better prepared.
Yeah, because even though people like give you warnings, it's like hard to anticipate how overwhelming the whole thing is and how
And
very
it,
different it is than any other convention.
yes, and it's hard when like people are trying to tell you things, but when you can't see it yourself, like you're like, oh, I don't under like I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, same. And I kept thinking, well, there's virtual queues. Like that's gotta make it
We've
like
done
better.
virtual queues, we've done conventions.
But it's just a different beast for sure. And I definitely had my lessons learned. My boyfriend and I did it together. And there's definitely things that we're like, oh, we would do that differently. But overall, we had an amazing time.
Yes, definitely. I agree with like I don't regret anything I did, and
Yeah.
I didn't miss anything where I'm going back. I'm like, oh, I really wish I would have done that. I really did get to like the things that I really wanted to do. But going into it, because I had no concept of what it would look like, I was very overwhelmed. So it took me through till like halfway through Friday for me to start like kind of feeling like myself and knowing what I needed, what I wanted and what I needed.
Yeah. And I think when you say it's different than every other convention, like you think of like conventions as like celebrity photo ops over here, and then just it's a big marketplace you walk through. But there's so many experiences at
Yes.
D23. So you are in lines a lot more than I really realized how much I would be in lines.
Ooh, I didn't really like shop at the main stores until like Sunday.
Yeah, so being a really big pin collector, pins were a high priority for me, hence why the virtual queues were so important, and hence why I came home with all the and I would be lying if I said I got every pen I wanted. So I didn't. I got, I would say, 80% of what I
But
wanted.
that's pretty good because I knew people that didn't even get any.
Yeah, no, I got very lucky that I actually got a virtual queue every day. And but within the pin community, it was very much like, hey, I have an extra spot, or I'll pick up anything that I don't want, and like a lot of trading and things like that going on that helped a lot. But getting the actual virtual queue every day helped ensure that I got a lot because one, I got everything from that store I wanted, and two, that gave me like trading bargaining chips to
Yeah.
get the other. I'm gonna see if I can find one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you could see this. It's Dinah with she's
Oh,
batting
so cute.
strawberries. I think this would be one of my other favorites from my
That track,
pen
like
on
both
him.
of those, I'm like, yeah, that tracks.
It was like stressful. It was also really fun. So that was a big part of my D23 that was different than your D23 for sure.
Yeah, and like the one thing that I had found I wanted was sold out, so I bought it online. So I cheated, but I actually preferred it that way too because it's glass, and I'm like,
You got
getting
it
this
home
home would have been
safely.
a trip.
Yes. And then there's tons of freebies everywhere. Like yeah, like the Pixar ball, pins,
A lot of
yeah,
pins.
Legos, like all kinds of stuff.
The Lorcana card.
I don't know how you managed to pull that one off because people were like literally the Loricana people almost broke the convention the first day.
Good timing.
I was just like, that was so different. Like that was so cool. Oh, the National Geographic, which is probably the one experience I wanted to do that I didn't get around to because of the way the lines were.
Yeah. I would say like next time, the panel for National Geographic over the experience.
Oh, really?
The panel was so I went to the National Geographic panel for Explorers, which released
Mhm.
this weekend.
Yeah.
I love watching like science nerd out because I am like also like a science nerd.
Yeah, you
And like they were
are.
talking to the one guy about it, and he was talking about this new technology they have on the ship where they can like see the data coming in. And he was just like any other fanboy. Like he was like up on his chair and
I
he's like
love that.
explaining it. Like he's about to jump out of chair and he stops and he goes, "What was the question again?" And I'm like, that is my type of nerd.
And see, that is why the Imagineering experience was my
Yes.
favorite because they had real Imagineers in each of the sections that work on that, like either that specific project or in that department. And so, like, I went and looked at the costuming, and the costume guy
The
would pull out the
costuming was
costumes for me.
amazing. The
And then
Broadway
he,
costume area.
oh my God, the Broadway costumes was like a whole nother, like, but in the Imagineering, a actual costuming Imagineer told me my costume was beautiful. And I like almost
High
cried. I was like,
praise.
you do this for a living. So like that was like a highlight for me. But also I would say one of my absolute favorite parts of is within the Imagineering was the little dancing droid,
The droids in training.
the
The
droids in
VDX droids. I
training.
love them.
And I found out that they're based on ducks, and Disney ducks are one of my favorite
It
things.
makes
And
so
so
much sense.
it
I
makes
caught
so much
them
sense.
twice. And the second time, there weren't a lot of people because they were out like on the side floor.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting on the ground and he came right up to me and
I
he
so
was
I
making motions at me. I was like,
Oh my gosh, I have the cutest videos. I haven't posted them yet because I went on Saturday, but then we went back on Sunday, and I was dressed as Leia, and they like came up to me like all excited, and I have like the cutest little videos of it. It was just like it makes my heart happy just thinking about it. It was definitely one of the highlights for me.
uh, the wand experience was one of my highlights.
I was gonna say that is like something I've wanted to do since I was 13 years old, watching Lizzie
Probably
McGuire.
younger than that. Like,
Probably younger than that, but like
as soon as we saw that was a
specifically.
thing, we all wanted to do that wand moment.
Yes, we did. And the liner of that got so long every single day.
The other one, this is where I spent my money. I'm not a big shopper. I did
No,
splurge.
unlike me who bought all the things. Oh yes, you met Ashley X
I met
Design.
Ashley and it's been a long time coming. I've tried multiple times and it just hasn't happened. So I got to meet her and I got assigned Ahsoka. It's the diamond edition that she only sells
So
at
pretty.
conventions.
So pretty.
So this was a big deal for me.
We all were her universe on Sunday, I
Yeah,
think.
we did.
Yeah.
But I also, I don't know if you realize this, I got to see her again on Sunday.
Oh, you did?
When I left the awards ceremony on Sunday early because honestly, it's just not for me watching like, and I was already so tired that sitting there, I was just like, you know what, I can go back to the con floor and enjoy it. So I was just wandering the
Yes.
con floor where there's not a lot of people. They were doing a Pictionary game on the spotlight stage with
How
her, like the voice of
fun.
Mickey and like three other people, and there was like no one there. So like we were
That's
all like
so
just sitting,
fun.
like to the point like there were so few people there. We were just sitting on the floor in front of the stage watching them play Pictionary.
That is so cool. I loved the Honda Center, and but like I get it's not for everyone because it
The other
was.
things, yes, like I would definitely do entertainment again. I love that one.
Yeah,
I would
I
probably do
loved
parks.
the entertainment.
The awards ceremony was, I was too tired to sit still that long.
It was very hard because our seats had a blue light that was like,
Yeah.
so I was feeling a little overstimulated, but it was so many of those speeches were so special,
Yeah.
and being at like Harrison Ford
Yeah. And I was
specifically,
there for him. I was there for
yeah,
Lee Curtis. And
and
I
those were
also knew
two,
I could go back and watch it on Disney Plus. And I know
yeah,
it's like not the same, but like for me, I was just like, I really just want to go through the convention center one last time.
yeah, because that was the one part about as much as I loved going to the Hana Center, you had to leave the con so early to like do it.
And that's when
And
the
so,
convention center was cleared out.
and because everybody, 12,000 people were going to the
Yeah.
Honda Center. And that's what was really hard though, because like I wanted to be there for those showcases and I really enjoyed them. And like, oh my gosh, like over like the big bombshell after big bombshell and the celebrities and all the things we got to see. But at the same time, it made you feel more rushed during the day
Because
and get there easily.
yeah.
I
Did you
agree that
attend
would
any
be.
panels?
So I didn't do any panels because the only one that I got was the costume contest, which I was really excited about, but I was stuck in a pin line.
Oh,
So I didn't get to go. So I didn't get to do any panels, but really the experiences were my priority for
yeah.
the most part. Um, So there's some that I've gone back and watched and it's really cool and it would have been cool to go in there, but my priority was more the like the show floor experiences and the pins.
Yeah, no, I get it. And like I got to 4 panels
Oh my God, you got really lucky. Yeah.
and I only had lottery for one. But the
Nice.
first day I rushed to the Phineas and Ferb panel.
Yeah.
And then we did the Goofy movie panel.
Which was like obviously a must for you.
I had 2 panels that were both like back to back to the Honda Center because then I did the Stay Tuned, You're Watching Disney
Yeah.
channel. It was so good.
You had some good
And then
people.
Michaela got me into the Percy Jackson panel because she had an extra spot.
So we were, I was about to do the Taylor Swift like experience in the Disney
The
Channel
Disney
thing and
Plus.
blocked it off. And it was because they brought the Percy Jackson cast in to take pictures of the Percy Jackson thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. Yeah, so I've always wanted a Stife bear, and Stife was there, and they had a Winnie the
So
Pooh,
cute.
and a affordable Winnie the Pooh. And he's the softest thing ever. And he has this little Stife thing right there. And I felt like he had to have a friend.
Of
So,
course.
and then I got a free Stife pin
Of course.
with because I bought a Stife. And then they're like, they really liked Harrison's cosplay and Kelsey's cosplay. So they gave them Stife pins too.
Nice.
But I was like, oh, look at the baby.
I was surprised, and I think it's just because of the type of convention we end up being on how many, like, there was a lot of cosplay, but there also was not a lot of cosplay.
On Fridays specifically,
It was
very
people
little
in just
cosplay.
like Disney gear.
Yeah, a lot of Disney gear. And I would say in the morning, you would see very little cosplay. And then
Yeah.
in the afternoon, I think it's like some people would come and do
That's
all
what
their
Amy did. She
shopping
would come shop and then go change into her
and then go
cosplay.
change into cosplay.
Lots of Roosevelt shirts.
Lots of Roosevelt shirts, a lot of Disney gear. I would say Friday, very little cosplay, a
Yeah.
lot more on Saturday
Yes.
for sure. But I was surprised because it was either like over the top cosplays or it was like Disney gear. It was like
Yeah.
not a lot of in between.
Yeah.
Um, I would say I would not wear a full princess gown again.
It is
Um,
the convention that if you are like a huge Disney fan and you like niche Disney, this
yeah,
is where you wear it. They will
yeah.
recognize you.
Well, and I like mashup cosplays in general. I like niche things. As many Cinderella cosplays as I've done, I've never done like a full Cinderella ball gown.
Hmm.
So my Bridgerton Cinderella, like that was great.
That was
And
great.
then my Alice, when I wore that the first time to a non-Disney convention, nobody knew I was Alice because it's not like the traditional white
It's
and
not pop
blue. It's
culture. Like it's an older movie. We don't have like new-ish content. Like,
yeah, and mine is like a more whimsical one with
yeah.
whimsical fabric and but it was like a huge hit on
It was.
Friday. And I have never, so I was like really worried about wearing it because the first time I ever wore it, like nobody knew who I was. And so I would say the niche stuff, like
Mhm.
Kelsey's like super niche,
Joanna.
unhinged men were so popular. Um, and that's what I've always loved about like GeekyCon, where when it was strictly a Harry Potter convention, like you could wear a more niche character,
Yeah.
like I did Madame Rosmerta or Madame Malkin, like things that I could never wear to another convention because nobody would know who
Because no one's
I
gonna catch
am.
it. Yeah.
Nobody's gonna catch it. So I think that was like the fun part about it being like a Disney
It was. And like
convention.
the crossovers, like there was a Disney Princess Fairy group.
Yes,
So
that
they
was
were cool to
cool.
see.
I saw this incredible couple that were Belle and Beast as Jedi's, and
The
her lights.
Stormtrooper princesses everywhere,
Okay,
and
the
there was a
Stormtrooper
Sorcerer
princesses
Mickey.
were everywhere. They were awesome. But this one specifically, they 3D printed a Lumineer lightsaber. And so
Oh,
his three, like I have a picture of it off, like it was so cool. Like the lightsaber was insane.
I love that.
So of the Honda Center, what was your favorite Honda Center like moment? I can
Kelsey
tell
has
you mine.
video of this.
Uh,
Lin-Manuel Miranda walking out on stage. I like lost it. I freaked. I was just like, because in my mind, I'm like, if he shows up, it's going to be for Percy Jackson because he's in it.
yeah,
I didn't realize he did the music for Mufasa. So when they announced him, I was just like,
that was incredible to be in the room with him. But I'll tell you, the one that made me the most excited in the moment, like I literally, you weren't there. I like freaked out. Was when Billy Crystal came out to announce Monsters Inc. Land and he sang. And one, Monsters Inc. is one of my favorite Pixar movies. I absolutely love it. And then it was just like freaking Billy Crystal, like,
yeah.
and he serenaded me. Like, it just, I like feel
But there
like
were so
excited.
many of those moments, like watching like the
So
performance of
many.
Hercules and The Greatest Showman.
Oh my God, so great. And then I'm sorry, David Blaine, how he's an actual wizard.
We still don't know. We've heard of
How
a magic
12,000
trick and have no idea.
I have looked through that deck of cards. It is a real deck. It's just a normal deck of cards.
It's a normal deck of cards.
It just blows my mind. He's an actual wizard. And and it was really cool to be a part of that
Yeah.
too. Like that was pretty awesome. And that was like the end of the night that night too, which was like such a cool way to
It
like
was
end
such
that.
a cool way to end it.
Yeah.
Of all of D23, I know this is gonna be hard. Of all of D23, what was your favorite thing?
Dancing droids. They just bring me
I
so
honestly
much joy.
same.
They bring me so much joy. And I got to see them twice. And because we don't have them in Florida, like at
No.
Disney
I
World,
want
and
them and I want Chopper.
I want them and I want Chopper. I want all of them. But like the joy that I would have when we would go and watch them, like
My
just
joy of
next level.
watching them was equivalent to Kelsey meeting Baymax.
I don't know that there is an equivalent to Kelsey meeting Baymax for like it was the like her meeting Baymax also brought me so much joy.
So we're gonna have to post the
Friend,
video.
seeing your friend get that excited about something with just pure joy brings me so much joy.
She was
Like I
she was
just
that excited at the bridge. We hadn't even gotten into the San
He was
Francisco.
like, it was so cute. It was adorable. Very closely behind that would be the ILM experience and like having my video taken on that
I
on
can't wait to
this.
see your video.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I didn't know what to do, but it was still
Yeah, I
like
saw
just
Michaela's. She's the only video I've seen so far from that.
yeah, it was such a cool experience and to just be there on that like stage and that incredible piece of technology in person that like has brought so many
The
worlds like
technology we were watching.
that is what was like so cool about the
I'm like,
Imagineering
I
about
I always love the idea of like being an Imagineer and wish
same.
I would have taken that path, but like seeing it in person and talking to them and watching the sculptors and the costumers and like everyone.
Yeah, and like you would just be standing next to someone and be like, "Oh, that's really cool." He's like, "Well, yeah, when I worked on this ride at Tokyo Disney," I'm like,
They had a whole Fantasy Springs section, which I'm like so excited. That's where this hat is from, is Fantasy Springs in Tokyo.
"It's
And I was
so
like
cute."
looking at him, I'm like, I'm gonna be there in a matter of months.
I just got so like, yeah, talking to these people who are like living the dream, being Imagineers. Like the Imagineering documentaries on Disney Plus are some of my favorite things to
Yeah.
watch and nerd
It
out about.
it reminded me of how much of a creative person I actually am. Because I am in a job where I'm not creative. And so when you're in a space with other creative people, and I was meeting people around me, and like I met like a film student. And so him and I connected because we were there solo and we just
Yeah,
like mentioned something. So we just kind of started talking. And like the conversations we had was like one of my best conversations of the weekend because we like completely nerded out on the creative aspect of things, not just like the creation, but like the process. And I'm
the
such a
process of
process
it.
person.
And I think what's so cool about D23 is like all these Disney fans, like from all over the world, all different
Mhm.
walks of life, all brought together because of this one company and all the stories it brings to us and all the experience. Just all these people coming together from all these walks of life, all over the country, all over the world, like these stories and experiences at the parks and everything that Disney brings into our lives and all this joy and just have like all these people just nerding out over the same thing and and different than like another convention. It's like the same thing. It's
Yeah.
not like when
And
you're
we
at,
all had like our own experience. Like if you talk to
yeah,
each of
every one of
us
us.
that was in our group, we all, even if we were together, we all had such a different experience of the event.
Yeah, because I think we all have things that touch us specifically and like they're special to us, and whether that was like your favorite Disney movie from when you were a kid was different, or whatever it is, that everybody has a favorite Disney thing and it's all going to be slightly different. And so you're going to have a different favorite thing, or a different experience because something means more to you.
Yeah.
Um, so it 10 out of 10 would recommend.
10 out of 10 recommend. You will see us there in 2 years. Uh,
I know. I
there's
loved
so
it.
much more we could talk about, but we've already gone long, but
I know.
it's so good.
Yes.
So,
So
oh,
again, highly recommend everyone should go at least once if you're a Disney fan.
we can now
And
give tips and tricks because we've been.
yes. And then you can just be a pen, you can be a pen goblin like me.
We'll teach you how to make some boards because I think I now need some new pin boards after this past.
Oh yeah, I am a pro at making pin boards now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Hannah.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure anytime.
And until next time, keep creating.